And this attracts Ben towards Tom. Ben thinks that, wow, this is such a fun-loving job. I mean, this is such a good job. I also want to do. And he comes to Tom. And now see, the amusing part is, job has to be done by Tom, It's a punishment given to Tom by Aunt Polly. But then here, instead of Tom doing it, Ben bribes Tom and tells him that I'll give you the money, give me this job, I want to do it because I know it's very enjoyable job. You are enjoying it so much, and I also want to have that fun. See? So Tom starts earning from the job instead of doing it as a punishment. He starts earning from his friends. A few more friends come there, and all of them give him gifts and plead Tom that please allow us to do it. Isn't it wonderful? Such an interesting character, Tom. Now, the story moves ahead. The job is done. As you can see, the friends have already done it. So job is done. And now Tom, after completing the whole job, Tom goes to a town square. Usually, he has a habit of roaming around in the town. And he goes to a town square where he sees this young girl, Becky Thatcher. Now, Becky Thatcher is a daughter of a judge, acting judge. And she's very beautiful, attractive, and Tom falls in love. Immediately, he falls in love with her. He starts stalking her, following her. And he tries to draw her attention towards himself. He tries to woo her. But Becky doesn't pay heed to any of his advances. Becky ignores him totally. And this is not tolerable for Tom, actually. Tom wants all the attention. He's an attention seeker. And the story moves ahead. That day passes by, and now it is Monday. And now Monday, as we all know, it's a school day. And Tom doesn't want to go to school. He's not interested in going to school at all. He makes all sorts of excuses in front of his aunt. And still, he's forced to go to school by Aunt Polly. Now what happens? That when he reaches the school, he meets a friend there. I shouldn't say a friend, but a boy. And that boy is Huckleberry Finn. Now this Huckleberry Finn is roaming around near the school, and he meets Tom. Tom gets impressed by the freedom he enjoys, the freedom that Huck enjoys. Tom also wants to be friendly with Huckleberry Finn. And he asks Huck to take him along wherever he goes. So Huckleberry Finn invites Tom that I'm going to go to a cemetery today to bury a dead cat. He's supposed to go to a cemetery to bury a dead cat. And he invites Tom to come along. He said, okay, fine. If you want to, you can join me. I'm going to a cemetery today. And if you want to, you can join me at night. And it's done. But then, that is in the evening, night. So till then, he has to be in the school. And so Tom enters the school. But by that time, he's very late. And he's punished by his teacher. Tom is punished by his teacher. Now the interesting thing is, Tom is given a punishment which he enjoys. He's asked to sit in the girls' section in the class. And what better could Tom ask for? He wants to be with Becky actually. And the only seat available in the class, in the girls' section, is beside Becky. And Tom decides to sit there. He enjoys being there. He fondly enjoys his punishment. This is the way the whole day moves on for him. He's lucky today. And in the evening, instead of going home, he decides to go with Huckleberry Finn to that cemetery. Now, the story that's a turning point in the story in Tom's life. Because by this time, he was just having fun, enjoying with his friends, wooing Becky. Things were all light, normal, very little childish pranks he used to do, and not a big trouble. He never faced a big trouble in his life till then. And that day, when he reaches the cemetery, along with Huck, they are burying the dead cat, and there they hear some noise. Immediately, the two boys hide behind the wall and try to see who is it. And they find 3 men coming in the cemetery. And those 3 men are Injun Joe, Dr. Robinson, and Muff Potter. These 3 men enter the cemetery, and they have come there to they're digging a grave, an old grave, reason unknown, and suddenly they start fighting. And not only that, these two, Tom and Huck, as I told you, they are hiding behind the wall and watching all this. And suddenly, Injun Joe knocks down Muff Potter. He punches Muff Potter and knocks him down. Not only that, Injun Joe immediately takes out a knife from his pocket and kills Dr. Robinson. There's a weapon. He takes out a weapon and kills Dr. Robinson. After killing Dr. Robinson, Injun Joe puts that weapon near Muff Potter, who is unconscious actually at the time, and runs away. Now, this act of murder is witnessed by Tom and Huck. Becoming a witness of this case becomes a headache for both of them, especially for Tom. He is unable to forget whatever happened there. He doesn't want to forget, actually. Later on, Dr. Robinson's body is found and the police investigation starts. And Muff Potter is summoned by the court. He's charged for the murder of Dr. Robinson. And as we all know, and even Tom knows, that actually he hasn't committed the murder. He hasn't killed Dr. Robinson. Muff Potter is innocent. We all know. But then this happens to Muff, and Tom is upset about it. He cannot tolerate that. Just then, Huckleberry Finn advises him that let's go out of the town for some days till this gets over. And he, Huckleberry Finn, and Joe Harper, all the 3 of them, decide to become pirates, and they take a boat and go to an island in the Mississippi River. That island name is Jacob's Island. They go to Jacob's Island in Mississippi River. Those 3 boys enjoy being there on the island. Just ignore the people there in the town. They hardly care about the fact that Aunt Polly, Tom's brother Sid, or other people, Huckleberry Finn's family or Joe's family, might be worried about them. But they don't care. They go there, they enjoy time there, fishing, swimming, leisurely sit there and enjoy life thoroughly. And here, on the other hand, in the town, all the families of these 3 boys are really upset that where are the boys, where have they gone? The search is on. Police and other people are searching the boys, all the 3 boys here and there. And finally, because they don't find anyone, they come to a conclusion that probably these 3 boys have drowned in the river. Because someone might have saw them boarding the boat, but then the bodies are not found, they are not found, and so everybody thinks, okay, fine, probably they are no more or they are drowned in the river. And in the town it is decided to declare them dead. Even the church announces all sorts of funeral processions. They prepare for their last rites. Suddenly one fine day, a few boats are seen by Tom roaming around and trying to find someone. And Tom realizes that probably people are searching them. And this realization makes Tom feel that he should go home and at least tell Aunt Polly that he's alive and he's safe. Don't worry. Tom decides to come back to the town. He prepares a note to give to Aunt Polly. He comes home, and as soon as he enters his house, he sees that the preparations of the final departure are going on. The last rites they are preparing for the last rites for the funeral of these 3 boys. Tom gets really frightened what to do and what not. All the 3 boys, surprisingly, attend their own funerals. And during that procession, they are identified by a few people of the town. And then people come to know that they are not dead, they are alive. And thus, Tom, Huck, and Joe come back to their families. Such mischiefs, such pranks are played by Tom every time, and it becomes a trouble for his family. Now, when he comes back, he sees that Muff Potter is framed for the charge of Dr. Robinson's murder. And he gets very upset, and he feels, although he has promised Huckleberry Finn that he won't give up the secret that he knows, he won't go and say that I was the witness of the murder. But then, finally, his heart forces him to go and tell the judge that he knows that Muff is not guilty. And Tom does that. Tom goes to the court and confesses that Dr. Robinson was murdered by Injun Joe and not Muff Potter. And what do you think? Injun Joe would spare Tom for this? No. Injun Joe is very upset. He, although, runs away from the court, and the police officials are unable to catch him. He then is revengeful. Injun Joe is revengeful. He wants to take revenge and wants to hurt Tom for whatever he did to him. Tom and Huck, they are very frightened. They try to hide here and there. They don't want to get hold of Injun Joe in any case. And later, we find that Injun Joe, along with an accomplice of his, goes to an old building where he has buried some treasure long ago, some silver coins. And he has gone there to dig it out. And there we find that Tom and Huckleberry Finn also had gone there. in search of some treasure. They also came to know from somewhere that some treasure has been buried there. And as we all know, Tom loves doing all such things. And so he and Huck have gone there. And by chance, they see Injunjo and his accomplice retrieving the old treasure hidden there. Not only the silver coins, they also dig out some box of gold coins also. And this is seen by Tom. Tom and Huck both once again get so frightened that they try to run away from there without being noticed by Injunjo. Because they know that as soon as they come in front of him, probably Injunjo might kill them. Now, after coming back to the town, Tom forgets about the treasure actually for some time, because Tom has other things also. He isn't, as you all know, he is in love with Becky, and he loves spending time with her. And so Tom goes once again. He has to go to school also, so once again he goes to school, and there once again he meets Becky and tries to woo her once again. And this time he manages to win the heart of Becky Thatcher. And that's how. And it happens that there's something wrong which Becky has done, and Tom takes the complete blame on himself. He takes the punishment also for whatever Becky did. And this impresses Becky a lot, and she falls in love with Tom at that very moment. And that's what Tom wanted. Actually, he did it for that. Here on the other hand, we left Huckleberry Finn there, right? Huckleberry Finn had seen the treasure and now he is unable to forget it. He wants that treasure anyhow. And he follows Injunjo and his accomplice. Now this happens that both of them, Injunjo and his accomplice, take the treasure and go to Cardiff Hill. Remember, when I was talking about Widow Douglas, I talked about Cardiff Hill. They go to